Hello, Upstate Prepper here. Today we're going to be talking about bugging out or bugging in. We're coming from an undisclosed location, namely my car, and we'd like to have a discussion. I invite you and encourage you to leave some comments of what your thoughts, if you think I missed anything, what your plan is, and don't forget to give me the thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. So, here's the scenario. We have the ultimate extreme SHTF situation has occurred. We're not talking about a simple problem that has arisen that's going to be getting fixed and solved in the next couple of weeks. We're talking that very small possibility event happening, something that the chances of happening are really slim. However, if it were to happen, it'd be really severe. Something like a nuclear war or an EMP or a sunburst that hits the planet, or a comet or supervolcano. Who knows? Something extreme that's going to put civilization in a situation where there is no law and order, there is no electricity, there is no nothing. So, what do you do? Do you bug out? Do you bug in? Well, there's a lot of pros and a lot of cons to either situation. So let's see if we can get into this. Some people have it in their head that a situation like this occurs, they're going to bug out. They're going to pack their stuff. They're going to get their supplies. They're going to get their wife, their kids, throw on their bug out bags, and they are going to head for the hills. There's a lot of downfalls that come along with this thought process. We'll see if we can go through some of them now. The first thing is, where do you live? What type of weather are you going to be encountering if you do this? Are you near a desert? Are you in the northeast where it gets bitterly cold, or in the south where it's oppressively hot? Where are you? Your location is going to determine a lot of what you're going to need in order to leave your home, theoretically home, which is most likely your chosen bug-in place, to bug out. What's the weather going to be? What are you going to be sufficiently clothed to deal with the weather conditions? If you're in the north, how are you going to stay warm? You're in the woods somewhere, how are you going to plan on staying warm? How are you going to acquire food? How are you going to acquire water? What is your plan? If you're planning on bugging out, even if you yourself are capable of handling a long march, a long hike, camping it out in the middle of the woods somewhere, what about your wife? What about your kids? How are they going to handle a 20-mile hike to get yourself deep into the woods, away from everyone? Are they going to be able to make that hike? And how about eating and drinking along the way? How much are you going to pack? You can only carry so much. What is it you're going to take? lot of people like the idea of bugging out, and there are some strong suits to bugging out also. You're at your home, and all of a sudden there's a group of people coming house to house, and they are looking for food. They're looking for water. What do? You know, that gives the whole idea of bugging out a much better, much more light onto the subject. And as you say, well, I'm going to get my stuff and we're going to get out of here, and that may be what you need to do. Got to have a plan, though. Do you have a plan? What's your plan? Do you have a plan A? Do you have a plan B? Do you have a plan C? Group is coming, a marauder type of group, or it could be your neighbors, could be a combination of the both. They're hungry, they're thirsty, they haven't eaten in a while, they're losing weight, they're getting thinner, and they're just down the street. It does make bugging out sound a little more attractive. What are you gonna do? Others of you like the idea of bugging in. And you say, well, I'm going to bunker in. I am solidly tight. I am going to stay in the house. This is where my supplies are. This is where my food is. This is where my water is. And I am going to protect it to the very end. Okay. So, what's your plan when the knock comes at the door? Who's going to be knocking at the door? Could be your neighbors. Could be a gang of marauders. It could be a violent gang. It could be the police department. It could be the National Guard. What do you do when the knock comes on your door? And I would suspect that eventually the knock does come to your door eventually. Hi, Mr. Smith. This is the local police department. Just calling to, we're just stopping in to check on you and see if you're doing all right. Make sure that you're all situated here in the house. Yep. It looks like, looks to me like you're on my little list here. Well, Mr. Smith, you just have yourself a good day. We just wanted to make sure that everything's going well. Then tomorrow comes, Mr. Smith, why don't you open up the door? We're here to come and get your food. We're here to come and get your water. And why don't you just come on with us, and we're going to take you to the FEMA camp. And we'll just have you there while this situation is going on. Poof. Your supplies are gone. Your food's gone. Your water's gone. Your house is gone. And now you're gone. Off to the FEMA camp you go. Or do you stay and pull out your weapons and decide, well, here we go. I guess we're going to be having a fight today. And that's your plan. Is that your plan? I'm not sure there's a right or wrong answer to this scenario. I guess a lot of it depends on where you are, where you live, and probably more importantly, what the event really is. What exactly it is that has happened, as to whether you should stay or whether you should go. There's good points for either. There's bad points for either. So it seems to me, as you develop what's happening in your particular area, And by that I mean maybe a 10 to 15 mile range of where you live, because that's really what your area is. It's basically the distance someone can walk in a day. One day's walk to your house, especially for outside groups that may be coming looking to go house to house, gangs looking for looking to do their criminal stuff. That's what you really need to be concerned about. What is happening in your area itself? What is the event? What's the weather? Because quite frankly, your four walls and your roof, that's going to be offering you the greatest amount of protection, not necessarily from a gunfight, because certainly your walls aren't thick enough to stop that. But as far as general concealment and comfort and protection from things such as the weather and familiarity, that's probably where you want to start. I think that you need to have plans in place for both scenarios. You need to have a plan in place for staying at your house. Are you going to be by yourself? Do you have a couple of preparedness friends that are going to be coming to your house also to assist you with protecting the house? If a situation arises where you need to leave, do you have it established where you're going to go? Do you have a second location established as to where you're going to go? What if you decide to leave and you get to your bug out location and you find that it's been compromised? You find that there's other people there. Lo and behold, your spot that you picked out that you thought was so secret and so secluded and going to be so protective has been compromised by someone else. They're already there. They left before you did. And not only are they there in your location, but they're there eating your food and drinking your water. In fact, they're carrying your guns on their shoulders. And by golly, they're even wearing your clothes. What are you going to do now? Are you going to have a gunfight to reclaim your possessions? Are you going to show them the deed to the property and say, hey, this property is mine and you just need to go, and expect them that they're going to go? Are you going to make a deal with them? Bring them into your group? What are you going to do? These are the things that you have to have planned out in advance and ahead of time. You've got to have a contingency plan as far as, if I am going to stay, what am I going to do when this, or this happens? How long am I going to stay before I leave? What are the type of situations that are going to cause me to leave? And if I leave, where am I going to go? Do I have more than one place to go? Do I have my supplies spread out over more than one location? And how hard is it going to be, if I do have that, to get from location to location to location, and constantly moving yourself and your family from one place to another, one location to another, to get to those supplies, or going to where those supplies are and bringing them back to where you are, if you are in a safe location? What are you going to do if there's already people there? What are you going to do if people show up there after you get there? You have to have all of this in place, ready to go in a moment's notice ahead of time. Because if you don't, you're not going to have time to come up with realistic plans, realistic thoughts and realistic actions to safeguard yourself, your wife, your kids, because ultimately that's really what your responsibility is to your family. It's your job to protect them. It's not anyone else's, it's not the government's, it's not FEMA's, and they're not going to protect them at all. That you can be sure of. You need to have all of this thought of in place. So, I hope you've liked this video. I hope it's caused you to turn on the brain and start thinking about what it is you're going to do when the time comes for that ultimate 1% problematic situation that, you know, it probably isn't going to happen, but boy, if it does, it sure is going to be bad. Because that's what we as preparedness people are doing. We're preparing for the worst case scenarios. There's really no reason to plan for something that's going to be taken care of in 3 days or maybe even a week. Most people have 3 to 7 days worth of food in their cupboards. It's something that's going to take 6 months to clear, or a year, or maybe even longer than that before things are able to return back to normal. Complete crash of the economic system and boom, everything's wiped out. That's what we're preparing for. That's what you should be preparing for, worst case scenarios. Because your kids and your wife and your life is at stake. So this is the Upstate Prepper. Prepared minds equals prepared people. We'll see ya in the next video.